Alright, welcome back everyone. Today we're going to be changing the rear differential fluid on this 2000 Ford Excursion. Pretty simple. I mean, it's the same thing as we did with the front. This thing's got the 1/2-inch bolts. You can use either 13 or 1/2-inch socket, so you're gonna need the 1/2-inch socket with ratchet, some scraper for scraping off the old gasket there, oozing out. Probably a hammer and a screwdriver is pretty good too, just to pry that open, because it's going to be pretty tough. I did put some penetrating oil all over a couple of hours ago, so it should be pretty loose. These things aren't that tight. Normally in the front it wasn't that tight either, so we are going to be changing. Book says 3 quarts, so I picked up some of this SuperTech gear lubricant, 85 140 weight, so 3 quarts of this. You might need either a pry bar or just a pipe, just to break these things loose if needed. And first and foremost, we are going to loosen the fill plug, which is on the front part of this rear end right here. So you're going to use a 1/2-inch ratchet just to break that open, and with this one I might need either that pipe or the breaker bar to break that loose. So first we're going to go ahead and do that, and then come back around and take these bolts off. Now, one important thing, we are going to take all of these off, and just like the front, so this thing doesn't fall down or anything, we will keep 2 of these loose, but not take them all the way out. So that way we can pry the bottom part open, and all the oil will, drain down in your catch pan, which is another necessary thing. And once that's out, we'll take the cover off, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to give this a nice cleaning, and probably a nice paint to match the front, the black paint that we used in the front. So yeah, and then this time I'm actually going to use same type of gasket that they use, Permatex gasket, so it's going to be a liquid gasket, and we'll go from there. So let's go ahead and loosen that fill plug first. Alright guys, so you guys saw that I did go ahead and clean this up, and everything's all ready for me to put gasket in this thing and install it. Came out pretty nice and clean, painted it nice. So I am going to use the ultra black Permatex gasket on this one, gasket maker. So what I normally do with this, I go around every bolt hole first, and then I do the rest. I think it says about 6mm, which is a quarter. On this I'm going to use a 1/4 inch thickness, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we'll go and install. Alright, so just like that, all the holes are covered all around, and just went around the thing about 1/4 inch thickness. Some places a little thicker, but be very generous with this. So you want it to ooze out from the sides when you do put this back on. So what we're going to do underneath the truck, we are going to put probably one of the top one or two of the top ones and just hand tie it, and then we slowly put it in and hand tie all of the bolts in, and then we leave it for about an hour, and then we will come back and torque it. So that's what the recommendation is with these things. So let's go underneath the truck and we'll install this thing. So now that they're tightened up, we are going to leave it for an hour or so, and we'll come back and we'll torque it, and then we'll leave it for 24 hours before we put the new fluid in from the other side. Alright, so it's been an hour, and now we're going to come and torque these all around, and you're going to see some of the Permatex gasket kind of oozing out of the side, and which is a good sign. That means that, you know, we put enough in there that it will cover the whole seal. So, and you will torque these to 30 foot-pound. Alright guys, it's been about 24 hours now, next day, and I'm just gonna check to see if this thing is hardened, and you can see that it's nice and cured overnight. So now we're gonna go around and take off the fill plug and fill this thing up with 3 quarts of this stuff. Let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so we're back here. We're gonna take off the fill plug. Now, one thing I wanted to show you guys is that there's a little magnet that kind of picks up all the little metal particles. See, all of this is just the little metal particles that are stuck to that magnet there, and you might want to clean that off, you know, with a towel or something. So, which is pretty good. It's all these little metal shavings and stuff that it picks up, so it doesn't get mixed up and do more damage to the teeth. So clean that off as well as you can. And now, I know I was gonna use this little 1/4 inch pipe, but I thought about using this instead because the gear oil is pretty thick, so I wanted to use that instead. I think it'll work a lot better. So go ahead and fill that up, and it will get direct right in there. So alright guys, so because of the thickness of the oil, what I basically ended up doing is just getting underneath this thing. I mean, it is lifted, so I can actually sit down here and do this. See how thick that gear oil is. So I just basically just sat here and started doing this. It does go down slower, so I just have to be patient, take my time. They get a little messy, but I'll get it done little by little. Alright, that's the last of the 3rd quart. I did have a little bit spillage, so what I'm going to do once I have everything tightened up, the fill plug and everything, I will, as recommended, drive this thing, and in a couple of days come back and try to top this off. I didn't see any seeping from the fill plug, so I'm pretty sure there's a little bit of room left where I can put a little more in there. So let's go ahead and put this fill plug back on. Alright, I guess we're done. And again, like I said, I'm gonna drive this thing around, see if there's any leakage from down bottom of where the gasket was put in from the other side, the cover. And other than that, it looks pretty good. Gonna do some cleanup, gonna fill these things up with the old oil that I took out, and take it back to the parts store to recycle that. And you always want to do that, recycle your old oil, gear oil, anything it is, transmission oil, just to save the environment and not toss it in the trash or anything. And that does it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.